So if you guys haven't been seeing some of the news and doing some of the math here, all Affirm has to do is bring in 1% of Amazon's revenue, and that accounts for 10% of their revenue. So
Yeah.
that's a huge number, and I would imagine that they're going to bring in more than 1% of Amazon's total sales. I would venture to say that maybe 2 to 2.5% in 2 quarters time. I think could probably be a realistic number. Maybe that's a little bit bold, but like that would be huge for a firm. Obviously, it's a nice to have for Amazon, but this benefits a firm way more, and I think that it could be a huge shift for the company, and that's why it's been moving so much. That's why it jumped up 35-40% on that news, and then obviously it's been doing really well since their earnings. I'm really excited to see a firm's earnings in the quarter that we're in right now, and in the quarter following that, because you also have the holiday season, and then there's Amazon and the amount of money they bring in. So I think a firm's growth story here could potentially just be getting started. I know that we talked about it. You had mentioned it being overvalued. I agree from a market cap standpoint from what we're looking at right now. But I think what a lot of investors are looking at is the potential growth beyond that.
Yeah.
And so, that's why I wanted to continue to hold on to some shares there too. But
Yeah. So even looking forward, that's what I was saying. Even the revenue coming in, if they crush it with Amazon, I still think it's overvalued because the revenue's just, you got to look at the revenue. But here's my problem. Here's what we haven't found out. And the firm's kind of, if you have this answer, let me know, but I don't think anybody has brought this up or has this information. Just because a firm is people select a firm for $1 billion worth of transactions. I don't know how much a firm gets, and they don't get a lot. I know that they're hoping to get just consistent transactions.
Yeah.
What I wonder is what shows up on their P&L. There's a possibility that actually, if the total revenue comes in and then they pay Amazon, cool. But I don't know if they show it up. And we've experienced that. We obviously have mentors. We don't show up that revenue on our sheet. We transact it, but we only show the money we take. That's the one thing that I worry, if that's what they do and it's not as great as we think, I worry that when that reality hits. So that's a question I'd be looking for if I am a long-term investor in a firm, because if they do get that revenue and they show it on their P&L, that's huge. But if they don't, that number is going to look far smaller than anybody anticipates.
That's a fair point. And I would say that even the bear case here is I have an Amazon Chase card. So for people who already have either like an Amazon credit card or, they just have a rolling account with Amazon, like you may already be one of those people. So how many eyeballs is going to get a firm's attention, I guess. So you definitely make up a great point as far as that's concerned. I think there's a lot to try to speculate on where this buy now, pay later, trend is going, because it seems like it's reaching the younger crowd more so than the more established, I guess financially folks, people like you and me and older. And so it'll be just interesting, the dynamic on how this all kind of plays out with people who actually prefer using buy now, pay later versus having just a credit card.